to The Writer's Dream. Our show is a forum where authors can talk about how they write their books, how they publish their books, and how they market their books. We are on YouTube. Just search The Writer's Dream. We are on Facebook. We are also aired in all of the Cablevision public access television stations on Long Island. So if you have a question for us, or if you're an author with a published book and you'd like to be on the show, please contact us through the Facebook page. Thank you very much. Today, our guest is Felice Cantatore. He is the author of The Rocky Spirit, the Rocky Balboa Connection to Success. He is also the Executive Vice President of Long Island Press and one of the founders.
Yes.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Nice to have you here.
Thank you.
So, your story is about Rocky.
It's about a connection from my life to the movie Rocky, and how I utilized the lessons learned in the films, in the series of films. There were 6 Rocky films throughout my lifetime, to really go on a journey in life, to learn for myself what the meaning of success in my heart is, different from financial success. It's success what brings a smile to your heart.
That's right.
And I learned, what is in my life in order to help others achieve their goals and learn their passion and their success. And I believe the book is a wonderful, wonderful roadmap for others to utilize to help them find their passion and help them meet their goals in life.
Now I have a really personal question for you.
Sure.
How old were you for the first Rocky?
I was 11, the first time I ever saw the movie Rocky, and it's a wonderful story. How I got introduced to the movie. I believe that everything you do in life, Linda, it goes a full circle. I believe that you have this, what we call a circle of influence, and everything that you need in life is within this circle. And it's your goal and it's your job to find the pieces, utilize them in order to benefit yourself. The ironic thing is, I used to deliver the Long Island Press as a kid.
I remember the Long Island Press when the Long Island Press was actually a thing you could hold in your hand.
Right, it was big, broadsheet publication.
Yeah.
And I was a paper boy. I helped my brother out. And usually at the end of the stop, at the end of the day, I would arrive at this candy store called Gardner's Luncheonette in Northern Boulevard in Flushing, Queens. And I'd arrive there, and sometimes my brother was nice enough to give me $1 or $2, and I was able to purchase a candy bar. And I'm online getting ready to purchase a candy bar, and I remember it like it was yesterday. It was a Milky Way bar. And I'm standing there waiting to make the purchase, and there's a customer in front of me purchasing a newspaper, and the 2 store owners, Mr. and Mrs. Gardner. And 3 of them, 3 adults, are talking about the greatest movie they ever saw. And I was listening in as this 11-year-old boy, and they were talking about the movie Rocky. And they pulled me in, and I listened to every word. And when they were done with the customer, the Gardners, they looked at me and they said, "Young man, have you seen the movie?" And I, no, I haven't seen it yet. And they said, "Well, you better go see the movie right away." And that night, I remember riding my bicycle home really fast to look through the newspaper, the old Long Island Press, find the advertisement in the newspaper, figuring out where the movie was playing, and then I asked my brother to take me to the movie, and we went that night, and I was treated to one of the greatest in-movie theater experiences of my lifetime, one that has never, ever, ever been matched.
Now,
it was amazing.
As an 11-year-old, I'm sure you didn't think this, because when you first talked about the film, you talked about the philosophical impact that it had on you as you developed as an adult to where you are now. As an 11-year-old, what did you first see in that movie?
I first noticed the character, and I was drawn in by the character and how unique the character of Rocky Balboa was. He was really this guy who was portrayed as a nobody, and all he wanted to be was a somebody. And he didn't really want to win the big fight. He wanted to go the distance. That was his goal. And his goal was to become a somebody. And I guess in my own way, that's what I would like to do through a similar story and through a book that relates to the movies. And I feel strongly that my story puts out a positive message that anybody can do anything they want to do in life. Anything is possible as long as they have the belief and the faith and the trust, and that they can have it in their heart to go the distance and to find what brings them pleasure in their life. Anybody can do it. Anybody can be that somebody. And I strongly believe that.
Oh, I think you're absolutely right. I mean, the story is proven over and over again. And so what was the first thing that you did as an 11-year-old? Or did it take you a few years to get to a point where you could actually do something concrete to move along to that journey?
You know, the movie always through pretty much every year of my life since I first saw it as an 11-year-old, and I've seen the movie so many times, although back in the 70s, you know, we didn't have VCRs and we didn't have DVD players and we didn't have iPhones where you can watch things.
Could you imagine?
Oh, boy. You know, you had to wait for that movie to come on, you know,
on TV?
On TV for that second chance to see it again. But the movie always played a role in my life. One of the scenes, and I think the strongest scene was, and I hope I'm not being a spoiler in any way, but it was the 14th round of the actual fight at the end. And in the 14th round, Rocky Balboa was knocked down to the canvas, and he was down for the count, and you know, he was almost finished. And in some way, he motivated himself to get up and to go on and to meet his goal. I look at that, and I still look at it today, as everybody is faced with that decision in life. Yes. Everybody's going to get knocked down. And the difference between the person that meets their goal and doesn't meet their goal is that decision the person makes to get up and go for it and move forward. And it's just such an interesting metaphor to watch that boxer get up, get to his knees, put his hands down on the canvas, and push himself up. And that's what life is about. Yeah, life is about getting up and fighting and going that one more round. And that's what makes the movie so special to me. And that's what really put me on my mission in life. And even though I didn't realize it, obviously, I didn't realize it until a couple of years ago that I was going to be an author and write this book. But every little piece of it fell into my circle of influence in a way that it was meant to be. And I feel that I was meant to share this story with the world.
And I also think that the movie itself is the American story of the underdog.
Yes.
We love an underdog in this country. And as soon as somebody goes a little under, you know, we like to knock them down. And then when they get a little under, then we like to kind of help them back up. And that's when I saw the movie, that's what I saw was this nobody from nowhere just becoming, achieving his goal.
Right.
And putting one foot in front of the other. And that definitely is the message. So
also, it wasn't just the one nobody. It was two nobodies. It was a series of nobodies.
Yes.
Because it was all the characters in the movie that made it magical. Each character was a misfit in their own right, including the character that was Apollo Creed, who was the champion. Even though he was the champion of the world and you know, he was the guy, he was a misfit character in a way. He was a flawed character. And when you look at all those characters individually, you really see the magic in that original Rocky film.
Yes. What did you think of the sequels? Were they as good?
You know, when you have a passion for the films,
yeah.
You're going to love them. For myself, I see words of wisdom in each and every film. I look at them for what they are. For myself, the original, of course, was the best for myself.
The original was the best.
It was the most special. It had for me, it had the most special meaning. But all the other movies have some tremendous meanings. Each and every one of them. I know, you know, they got away a little bit away from the original story, and I know that in the '80s they went over the top, and there was some things that weren't as realistic. But when you look at it closely and you try to cherry pick the messages in each film, there's some great ones. Rocky V, which gets really no respect, not only from the media gives it no respect, the audience gives it no respect. Some of the people who produced the movie don't give the respect, but the message, the strong message of family that's in that movie, and the meaning of family and what you can do and succeed when you have your family together and you have the love of your family, it's a wonderful message. And I think sometimes people need to just step back and look at films in a different way. What is the film trying to bring out? It's not, life is not always about dollars and cents.
Well,
Life is about what you learn and your passions.
That's very true. I think sometimes when you take your focus off the dollars and cents, success comes to you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you open up. You have to open it up, and you have to sort of let it in. And ask a lot of questions.
Yes, ask a lot of questions.
And constantly talk about
Absolutely.
it, because you never know who you're going to meet. And again, I talk a lot about in the book about the circle of influence and bringing people into my life who helped me achieve certain goals. And you asked me before, Linda, where I took took the lessons from the first movie, and where. Since watching the first movie, my entire life, all I wanted to be was in a movie, Rocky Balboa. I wanted to be in a Rocky movie. And, many years later, it was actually in 1997, I purchased this photograph of Rocky and Apollo Creed from Rocky II fighting in the ring, and I put it above my computer in my apartment. And I used to look at this picture every day, and this guy in the picture, it was in the bottom of the picture. He was sitting ringside in the audience, and he sort of looked like John Denver. Now, to this day, he could really be John Denver, or he could be just somebody who looks like John Denver. But I used to look at this picture, and I would say, how did this John Denver guy get that seat?
Yes.
That should be my seat. After all of these years, from the 70s to now 1997, watching these films over and over again, and living my life from the lessons learned in the film, I said, how did he get that seat? That should be my seat. That should be, and I would tell my wife over and over again. Now, Rocky V came out in 1990, so this is 7 years removed from what at the time was the final Rocky. Rocky Balboa, the sixth installment of Rocky, didn't come out until 2005. Well, actually filmed in 2005. It came out in 2006. So this was many years before this was even an idea of Rocky Balboa to come out. And I would say to my wife, if they ever did another Rocky movie, I'm going to be in it. I'm going to be in the front row. And my wife, who at times is the most wonderful support system, she really is a doll. She does, everything. She supports in every way. But she gave me the ultimate support that day. She said, "Shut up, you idiot. They're never, they're never going to make another Rocky movie."
She had it.
Right.
You said Rocky just once too often.
Go back to work.
That's very funny.
So,
but you got there.
But in my mind, not only did I get there, but in 1997, I was already there. I was already living that part of my life, and that's where the law of attraction comes in. When you believe something, and as I looked at that picture, and you believe something so strongly, you can manifest it through your positive thoughts. And I don't mind sharing with the viewers, I reached my goal. I made it to Rocky Balboa, the sixth installment.
Excellent.
And I got into the movie, and originally I got in as an unpaid extra. And when I found out I wasn't going to be, at first I was overjoyed to be in it.
Absolutely.
But then I started doing a little research, and wait a second, an unpaid extra, I'm going to be in the back. My goal in life is to be front row at a Rocky movie. That's the goal. And I did everything in my power to get into the front row. And I don't mind sharing with the viewers that I landed almost the exact same seat as that John Denver guy. When you look at the two photographs together of him in his seat and me in my seat, him from Rocky II and me from Rocky Balboa, it's uncanny how I landed almost that exact same seat.
But
it's an amazing picture.
What I want to know is, how did you convince your friends that you didn't Photoshop yourself?
I'm in the movie. You should have seen my face. I'm at the premiere of the movie, which was and I'm always a goal setter in life. You always have to have a goal.
Yes.
So when you reach one goal, for me, the next goal comes quick. And right after reaching the goal of being in the movie and going to the filming of the movie in Las Vegas, the next goal was premiere. I had to be at the premiere. This was my big moment. I didn't know
that was going to be one of my questions.
Yeah,
how did you do that?
I didn't know I was going to be, in the movie, because as an extra, you can get cut out.
Sure.
I knew that I put my head in a few shots. I'm good at that, but I wasn't for sure. But my next goal was to get to the premiere. And I did everything in my power to get to that premiere, and everything I did failed, which was another lesson, because the lesson in life is you're always going to have obstacles. They're always going to be thrown in your way. It's that person that perseveres, and I think that's why I have the connection to the character Rocky Balboa so much. It's all about perseverance. It's every obstacle that was thrown in my way. I overcame each obstacle, and I kept talking and kept going. And with just days left before the actual premiere, I landed not only the tickets to the premiere, but are you ready for this? I landed the president of MGM's seats for the premiere.
Oh my gosh.
Through perseverance, belief, thought process, that I was already there, and I landed the president of MGM seats. And readers of the book are absolutely going to love this story about how I did that and how I met that goal. It's just an amazing, amazing story. And ready for this? At the premiere, I negotiated myself into walking Sylvester Stallone into the premiere itself. I was the only one in the hallway left, and I actually walked him into the premiere, which was really just an amazing opportunity.
Did you have a conversation with him? Did you say anything to him?
Very briefly. I met the man about 4 times in my life. Each time I met him, he was great. He really was. It was a pleasure meeting him, and you know, I didn't get the opportunity to really have that full conversation with him, which I would love to someday. I welcome that. That's the next goal. Because
yeah, that's really a good goal.
I'd like to talk to him about what I got out of the films and to see if we were actually on the same wavelength in that regard. So I would really welcome that someday.
I think a lot of actors are interesting people to talk to because although they make these movies and they become so famous, they really do understand how hard it is to do this.
Right.
How, first of all, you have to turn into the character, and then you have to deal with, I mean, I see what we deal with in a very simple TV show like this, but I can't imagine what it's like to deal with all of the people on a movie set and make this all come together into that one scene that inspired you as a boy.
Right.
And movies continue to inspire. My own feeling about movies is that they are the most inspirational art form we have.
If done properly, absolutely.
Because there's a mass audience, they capture you. It's like the difference between going to the movies and seeing a movie at home. I want to go to the movies. I want to be in that dark place where I connect with the screen and nobody else.
The giant screen.
Yeah.
You know, when I saw myself on the giant screen for the first time,
that must have been.
My wife, she just sat back and she saw me kind of gasp, you know, because that was it. That for me, it was a pinnacle of a goal. And little did I know that there was so much more that was going to come for me within the the whole Rocky spirit.
And I think your point is so important for authors because we as authors, it is so difficult to get your book out there. It's people say, "Well, it's hard to write the book." No. The book was fun to write.
Yes.
Okay. Sometimes even the publishing process is not really all that difficult. Especially if you self-publish.
And especially if you publish a newspaper every
every
week.
If you're doing it like every week. And I was married to a journalist who had to do it every day.
Oh,
I mean, he was on the copy desk and wrote captions and whatnot. But that had to be minute by minute. It was very tense. But to get people to notice your book.
Yes.
It takes the persistence that you're talking about.
It's a Rocky story in itself. It really is, because you are the underdog of the book business.
This is really funny. You've given me such a mental image of me going up the steps of the library in Massapequa and hearing the theme from Rocky.
Right. And I love that location, by the way, in Philadelphia. I love the Philadelphia Art Museum and what those 72 steps from that museum represent, and what the character of Rocky Balboa did for that town and for that location. For me, looking at those 72 steps and seeing them on the incline means that you have to work hard to get up each and every step. There's a level or a layer to get up to the top. But when you get up to the top, you also have to recognize and realize that there is a stream down below. And that there's something special down below as well. So the meaning of getting up to the top and raising your arms in victory is very special, and it brings in a tremendous amount of energy in our universe.
Sure.
But you also have to be grounded to understand that there's some really special things on the bottom step too. and starting on the bottom sometimes is not a bad thing to do.
Well, I also think I like the concept of steps better than climbing a mountain, because if you misstep on the mountain, you slide all the way to the bottom. But if you're on steps, you could get frozen on a step for a while.
Right.
And maybe there's something to learn there before you go on to the next step.
And,
It's a better analogy.
even if you stumble on a step, brush yourself off and keep going and get up to the top. And I remember in the film, in the original film, Rocky having such a hard time running up the steps for the first time, and he was breathing heavy. And then all of a sudden, by the end of the film, when he went through the training scene and the energy of the training scene, he gets to the top. There's none better. And I myself.
You did it, right? Didn't you do the whole Rocky run?
Oh, of course. That was
that.
That was all part of my mission, and I enjoyed taking people around and showing them all the filming locations, and it was actually part of my mission to get me to the premiere. I came up with this unbelievable idea that I would dress people up, 40 people like Rocky, put them in a bus, take them to the premiere, and in my mind, I figured that